What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, we get to talk about Twisted Metal yet again, and kind of a continuation of the rumors that we've been talking about for, at this point, maybe like 2 or so years. So, look, there has been a pretty, I would say, considerable amount of evidence that a Twisted Metal game is going to happen. The rumors up until, today or yesterday, and we'll talk about the newest stuff, but the rumors up until this point is that a game was coming very, very soon. In fact, the game was supposed to come in 2023, or at least have been shown to kind of coincide with a TV show. That was the past rumors, and obviously it didn't happen. The show came out. The show was a huge success. In terms of adaptations, I think they did about as good of a job as we could have hoped for. But now we're kind of in this place of somewhat uncertainty, right? We believe a game is coming. We've heard a lot about it, but seemingly it's been pushed. Now, whether it comes out this year or not, we don't know. Sony just recently talks about, hey, nothing's going to come before March of, 2025 in terms of these big existing, massive, franchises, the Spider-Mans of the world, Ghost of Tsushima's, God of Wars, etc. Twisted Metal, if we're talking about the late 1990s or, the early 2000s, that would be considered a big franchise. Nowadays, the TV show does extremely well, but Twisted Metal hasn't had a game in over 10 years. So what I'm saying is, could this game come out before March of next year? I actually think it could, and fulfill and still stay in line with what Sony has said, because I don't think this actually is a big franchise, much like if you do a remaster of like an Infamous collection. Do you consider that big? Maybe we do, but Sony probably does not, anymore at least. So I still have hope, and I still think a Twisted Metal game can actually work. Now, today's rumor comes from Jordan Midler of Video Games Chronicle, and he had posted on Twitter, and we'll just read it out. Podcast question: what PlayStation franchise that hasn't had any games in a decade deserves to come back? Bloodborne was 9 years ago before you weirdos start. Bring it back, and he petitions for MotorStorm, which is a fantastic idea, by the way. I love MotorStorm and Apocalypse. But then somebody posts just Twisted Metal, right? Just a picture of Twisted Metal. And he responds, and he says, you won't be waiting long for that. So it's still more rumors. It's still kind of ambiguous, but I honestly believe it. Because again, we've covered this. You can go back. You can probably just type in Podcast Now Twisted Metal. You can go back 1.5 to 2 years of job postings and just kind of this flow that we've tried to cover as best I can, at least, right? Of what seemingly has happened with Twisted Metal. So I do think there's a Twisted Metal game that's happening, and I guess like at least showing it off in the next few months would be nice. But again, the bigger thing to me, can this game release, I guess, within the next year? And I think the answer should be yes. The rumors or the job postings, all this stuff, the game has been in the works probably since around 2020, 2021. So, you got probably 3.5 years, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. You could say that's not enough time. When you look at these big AAA games, that's true. But when you look at these, live servicey, and I do believe a Twisted Metal game would be a live service game, I don't think it should take 4 or 5 years. I highly doubt Sony would want it to take 4 or 5 years. So we'll see. But I'd absolutely, want a Twisted Metal thing. I like the 2013 game. I've been actually going back, and I made videos on my third channel, my retrospective channel, played Twisted Metal 1 and 2. Twisted Metal Black is one of my earliest, childhood things. So it's not, the biggest franchise in the world to me personally, but it's definitely one I guess I kind of grew up with, and it's always been around, and I do think it deserves a comeback. And I think if Sony wants to go live service, and Helldivers 2, such a major success, following that up, you got to be careful, right? Because they kind of did everything right except for the servers. Everything else is good. So for Twisted Metal to kind of come after that, you got to have a foundation. It's got to be fun. It's got to have that hook. And then it's got to, not be in your face with monetization. Obviously a lot of things that kind of sink live service games. I'm sure we'll talk about that more as we get closer. But here's hoping we get something soon. State of Play, another one, I guess. I don't know necessarily when you would show it. If they do some maybe big showcase around that May, June time, maybe that's where you show off Ghost of Tsushima 2 and, games that are further out. Maybe that's when you also show a couple games that are, this fall, maybe some remasters or PC ports or something like Twisted Metal. That's what I would think we would see it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.